In every corner of our vast world, the allure of a fresh start whispers to restless souls. For many, this means leaving behind the familiar to chase dreams in faraway lands, seeking opportunity, adventure, and above all, acceptance. Yet, as the sun sets on those distant horizons, reality often reveals itself in unexpected ways. Across the globe, the promise of a new beginning calls to many, but sometimes, the dream is not what it seems. Today, we journey through 10 countries where Black people are starting to regret moving to. The stories we share are not just about places, but about the human longing for belonging, dignity, and respect. Let us walk together, through snow-laden streets and bustling cityscapes, across continents and cultures. With every step, listen closely, to the wind, to the voices of those who have lived these journeys, and to the gentle heartbeat of hope echoing against the odds. In the bustling heart of China, cities pulse with life, innovation, and centuries-old traditions. For Black expats, however, every street can feel like a stage, every glance a reminder of their difference. Curiosity often blurs into discomfort, as strangers reach out for photographs, or stare, with open fascination. The language, a beautiful but complex tapestry, presents a formidable barrier, separating newcomers from the world swirling around them. Beyond the surface, deeper challenges emerge. Workplaces and universities, while eager for diversity in theory, can be slow to embrace true inclusion. Some find themselves typecast, their identities reduced to stereotypes or tokenism. Social circles rarely open beyond the surface, making genuine friendship or acceptance feel out of reach. As neon lights flicker over ancient temples, the divide between outsider and insider remains stark. For many Black expats, China offers adventure, but also a persistent sense of being observed, never fully welcomed, always just a little out of place. Italy, where art, romance, and history intertwine, promises the warmth of Mediterranean life. But beneath the golden glow of Tuscan sunsets, some Black expats encounter shadows cast by centuries-old prejudices. In cities teeming with tourists, the novelty of diversity often wears thin. Subtle slights, being ignored at cafes, followed in shops, or questioned by local authorities, puncture the dream of la dolce vita. Integration proves elusive in communities where tradition reigns. Language offers connection, but even fluency can't always bridge the gap of suspicion or exclusion. Stories of outright racism, both spoken and silent, accumulate over time, leaving scars that no amount of pasta or piazzas can heal. Still, the beauty of Italy endures, and so do the people determined to persevere. Yet, for many, the burden of never truly belonging has begun to outweigh the joys of life under the Mediterranean sun. Straddling east and west, Turkey offers a crossroads of cultures, flavors, and histories, but for Black expats, the bridge between worlds can also be a chasm. Acceptance comes slowly, if at all. Some find themselves perpetually caught between curiosity and suspicion. Conversations can be warm, but beneath the surface, old biases sometimes simmer, coloring perceptions and interactions. Navigating daily life means adapting to unspoken rules and traditions. In smaller towns, the lack of diversity draws extra attention, and not all of it is friendly. Even in cosmopolitan Istanbul, the stares linger, and doors don't always open as easily as they do for others. The challenge is not just language, but the feeling of being perpetually foreign. For many, Turkey is a land of breathtaking beauty and complex contradictions. Yet, the dream of belonging can slip quietly away, replaced by the realization that acceptance here is a journey with no clear destination. South Korea dazzles with its blend of ancient palaces and high-tech cities. To the newcomer, it can feel like stepping into the future, but for Black expats, the present can be complicated. Stereotypes linger, fueled by limited representation in media and society. The expectation to conform, to blend into the mosaic, can be overwhelming when you stand out at every turn. Friendship here is often built slowly, behind the walls of social norms and expectations. Classrooms and offices are places of learning and ambition, but also of quiet scrutiny. For some, compliments are tinged with microaggressions, and curiosity sometimes crosses the line into discomfort. Despite this, many find small joys, moments of kindness, shared laughter, and cultural exchange. But the weight of being always observed, always judged, can erode the sense of home. For some, the dream of South Korea fades, leaving only the memory of what might have been. Greece, the cradle of democracy and myth, welcomes the world to its azure shores. Yet for many black expats, the ancient promise of hospitality is complicated by the modern realities of economic struggle and social exclusion. Unemployment is high, and opportunities for newcomers can be few and far between. Social circles tend to be tight-knit, with outsiders struggling to find a place. Prejudice, sometimes unspoken, can make daily life an uphill climb, from finding housing to feeling safe in public spaces. The warmth of the Mediterranean sun is sometimes offset by the coldness of indifference or suspicion. Still, the beauty of Greece, the shimmering seas, the echoes of ancient stories, offers comfort. But for those seeking not just a new life, but a new home, the myth of easy belonging fades in the harsh light of lived experience. Poland, with its cobblestone streets and resilient spirit, is a country still defining its place in a changing world. For black expats, the lack of diversity is immediately apparent. In many towns, they are a rare sight, drawing attention wherever they go. Sometimes, this curiosity is benign. Other times, it is a prelude to prejudice. Social integration can be a steep climb. Language barriers aside, the absence of multicultural communities means that support can be hard to find. Some encounter outright hostility while others simply feel invisible, unacknowledged in workplaces or ignored in social settings. Yet, there is resilience here too among those determined to build bridges. But for many, the weight of always standing out becomes too much to bear, turning the promise of a new start into a lesson in endurance. Japan is a land of beauty, order, and tradition, a society where harmony is cherished. But for black expats, the very things that make Japan unique can become barriers. Being visibly different means that anonymity is rarely an option. Curiosity is constant, sometimes polite, sometimes invasive. Language and cultural customs form a maze that can be difficult to navigate. Even after years, many find themselves outsiders, invited in for a moment, but never quite allowed to stay. Workplaces and social circles can be welcoming on the surface, yet the deeper bonds of trust and belonging develop slowly, if at all. Despite the challenges, some find comfort in the quiet beauty of Japanese life, the cherry blossoms, the rituals, the moments of peace. But for others, the sense of isolation grows, turning the dream of Japan into a solitary journey. Ukraine, with its sweeping steppes and vibrant cities, has opened its doors to many seeking refuge or opportunity. But for black expats, particularly in times of uncertainty, safety and acceptance can seem elusive. Political instability and war have amplified feelings of vulnerability, making daily life fraught with anxiety. Reports of discrimination, especially at borders or in public institutions, have cast a shadow over the hope for a better life. Stories circulate of being turned away, questioned, or left behind when help is most needed. The struggle to find community is made harder by fear and the constant need to look over one's shoulder. Still, amid hardship, there are moments of courage, new friends, acts of kindness, the will to go on. But for many, the risks have begun to outweigh the rewards, leaving regret in place of what was once a bright new beginning. Hungary, with its grand architecture and rich heritage, stands at a crossroads. In recent years, a rise in nationalism has cast a shadow over the country's open doors. For black expats, the signs are unmistakable. A tightening of social circles, a surge in suspicion, and a sense that the welcome mat is being slowly pulled away. Public discourse has turned inward, and those who look or sound different find themselves on the margins. Bureaucratic hurdles multiply, and everyday encounters, from renting an apartment to seeking medical care, are tinged with uncertainty. The rising tide of exclusion is felt in subtle glances and in the louder voices of those who wish to turn back the clock. Despite all this, some persist, hoping for change, for a place at the table. But for many, the dream of Hungary has become clouded by the reality of its shifting politics, leaving hearts heavy with longing for a true sense of home. As we close our journey, we are reminded that the search for belonging is universal. Across continents, languages, and cultures, the hope for acceptance binds us all. For Black expats, the path has often been harder, marked by moments of courage, but also of heartache. The countries we explored tonight are not just destinations on a map, but landscapes of memory, struggle, and resilience. For many, the journey is not just about a new place, but about finding belonging. Sometimes, the hardest part is realizing that home is not just where you go, but where you are truly welcomed. In facing adversity, some have found new strength, while others have chosen to seek greener pastures, carrying with them lessons learned and dreams renewed. Let the sound of wind and water remind us that, like rivers, our search for home is ongoing, shaped by obstacles, but always moving forward. May we all find the place where we are seen, valued, and finally, at peace.